Hey everybody, welcome. I'm without tacos today. It is another Taco Tuesday-ish day. Um, as you may know, I've been sending out free marketing tools to everybody. Anybody who will give me an address, sticker, certificate, um, some more magnets and stuff. Aren't those cool? So give me an address. I just sent one out to Louisiana and Germany earlier today. And so with me today is David. Hello, David.
Hello, Eco. How are you, buddy?
Good, good. David and I got acquainted with Twitter Spaces, and so it was kind of amazing how it worked out. Where it was like I would warn David about things that you need to be aware of as a new person to the community and cryptocurrencies, and then poof, there came a threat, and David got to see it firsthand. It's the greatest thing, and David's been awesome in the chat, and I like to joke with him about being this year's Hexkin of the Year, if there was ever an award. So thanks so much, man.
I
And by
appreciate it, Eco. I appreciate it.
Yeah, by the way, people, if you don't know who I am, I'm Eco Builder in Georgetown, Texas, organizing some of the Hex Texas meetups and sending out free mailers to everybody in the Hex community or on the fringes of Hex. Anybody who will give me an address, a PO box, a business address, a house address, your family's family members, doesn't matter to me. And so this is absolutely free because I'm OG. And what's interesting to me, what's gotten my attention, this is another thing that I send out that I didn't show you, handwritten letters. And so what I've done is I've handwritten letters and I've gone over to the copier and gotten plenty of them printed out, and I'll send them out to people in order to suggest that you do handwritten letters to your neighbors or friends or family. Because who actually could ever reject reading a handwritten letter, in my opinion, that says like, "Hi, neighbor." I think that if it's that personal, then I should take the time to listen to that human being. And so David has sent a handwritten letter to his friend, along with, or several friends, right? Along with
Yeah.
a business card sized hex info marketing tool there. So I've asked David to give us a little bit of his time in showing us or explaining to us like what he was thinking and how he went through the whole process and what his background affirms that this sort of thing works, this type of marketing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank
and
you.
then also I'll share on the screen here. This is the actual letter or a version of the letter that was sent. Please take it away, David.
All right. Well, listen, Eco, I appreciate this. I really do. This meeting that you're taking place here. I'm super excited about Hex, guys. I've never seen anything quite like this before. One of the things that happened to me that really hasn't ever happened to me is that Eco Builder, what he did was he went back to the basics and the basics of snail mail, which I didn't think people actually opened up and read, but he nailed me with it with a bunch of magnets and things that he just showed you on the screen. And I realized how powerful it was because I was excited to receive it. He told me it was coming, it was coming in the mail. I gave him my address, home address. And so he said, I'll send it to you. It took a little while to get here, but it was exciting to wait for it and then to open it up and then get all the goodies in it. Because once you click your phone on the QR code, it goes to the YouTube, it goes to the Twitters, it goes to everywhere. So which is really nice because the marketing tool itself does all the talking for you. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes we make. And I'm not a marketer, I'm a home builder, but what I do is I realize to keep things simple. It's very important to keep things simple. And I realized how simple this was. I figured to myself, this is something I can do. I can write a letter this simple, which basically just reads off, Justin, here's what I wanted to show you, which is important too, because I didn't want to tell him about it. Just like Eco said, I've got some things for you to see. I'm going to send them to you in the mail. la-di-da-di-da. It's important to tell people that you want to show them something. That's what gets people excited. It got me excited. Even at my age, I realized, damn, I'm excited to see what he's going to show me. So I wrote it real specific that I was going to tell Justin, this is what I wanted to show you, right? Because I talked to him about it. And I said, click on the QR code on the card. It will take you to hex.com and the YouTube videos. I said, check it out. Call me and we'll go over it. I said, I'm super excited. I said, to share this with you. This is big. When I see something that is this big, that can be shared this simply, I get pretty excited about it. I get really, really excited about it. I've learned in life with my career and what I've done, things have become too complicated. And so in investing, like with Hex, we have something here that I think is bigger than actually we think we have. It is the real, not only the truth engine, as Richard Hart calls it, but it is a multiplier times gazillion times yield times, hold on to your seats, right? Because this thing's going to take off with or without you. When it comes to looking at something, people look at things differently. Everyone has a different personality, okay? And I believe that when you share something with someone, the easier you do it, the more simpler you make it, the faster they're going to come. And what I mean by that is there's four types of friends, and it's not about financial or not financial, but there's you have the friend that's willing to spend like $100 in something, right? And then you got the friend who's willing to spend, let's say, $1,000 in something. And then you have a friend who's willing to dump in 10 grand. And then you have a friend that's willing to dump in 100,000, right? And there are some of us that have friends that could dump in even more than that, $1 million. There's a few friends that and other people know that can dump in, more than that. However, it seems like the higher the money goes up, the more, I don't want to say intelligent people are, but the more they're risk averse and they want to step back, and people want to know what they're investing their money in. So for some reason, the $10,000 mark for me happens to be where if I'm going to invest X amount of dollars over, let's say 10K, I want to know what it is. I want to understand it. And this is where things get weird, because those of you in the community that know me, and Ego yourself, you know me, I've only been at this since about 1.5 years now, give or take, in the Hex community and learning about Hex and understanding it. And I'm still learning, and I'm not a quote savvy, techie computer guy, but I could build you the Taj Mahal. However, I needed to step back and look at this in a way and really understand what I'm getting myself involved in. What I loved about Hex, and I have a past, and we can talk about that at a later time with crypto, as you know, at Ego, is that I love the fact that you could stake it and forget it, right? Just stake it and forget it. I love the fact that you could stake it. I love the fact that Hex has got the truth engine that you can put your money in and not have to sit and worry about it. I remember back in the day, you always had to look at your phone to see if, is it going up? Is it going down? Like, those days are over, right? Those days are completely over. So what do I mean by keeping it simple, right? They say, kiss it, keep it simple, stupid. I didn't realize, going back full circle here, I didn't realize how simple you made this, Ego, because once I grabbed the card and then I started scanning it and the stuff that you sent me, right, bro? I mean, I was like, wow, all the information that I was trying to accumulate over time on YouTube that spent hours and hours and hours and hours of doing, I realized that you condensed it into probably about 10 minutes, if that, right? So we're condensing, 50 hours worth of Richard Hart watching and YouTube and trying to figure this whole thing out and get a MetaMask and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. You condensed it to about 10 or 15 minutes, give or take, by just clicking on those QR code scans. And I thought, okay, I can do this. This is simple. This is something that someone can look at. I don't have to explain. I don't want to have to explain anything, right? The last thing I want to do is sit around and explain 50 hours of Richard Hart to somebody who's going to invest, let's say, $10,000, right, into an investment. So that power of simplicity, I realized snail mail still works. I realized you had me hooked. I realized that you got me waiting for it to come in the mail. There were certain psychological things going on there with human behavior going on there that I was unaware of until it all happened to me, until I got to experience it myself. And then when I experienced myself, I thought, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm in. I want to bring in friends and family. I want to share the good news, dude. This is amazing what's going on, in the Hex community. And I realized that, before you sent me these things, Eco, you made it clear, and I think this is a very important fact, that you can give people all the facts in the world, right? It's like you can go to a sales or you go buy a car or a truck, and you can stand in the parking lot or the dealership lot, and you can sit there and they can pick all the facts to this truck or the car, right? But at the end of the day, we both will agree that human behavior, we buy on emotion, right? We're emotional creatures, okay? And so in saying that, one thing you told me was a story when I got on the Twitter space, which I was totally unaware of, never been on Twitter before. I had no followers. One of the things that caught me with you is that you told a story. And I go back to that because I remember even telling my wife. I know some people don't share their experience with their wives, their crypto experience, but my wife knows everything, so I don't hide anything from her. I've been married for almost 20 years. So I can tell you right now, I said, these stories are unbelievable. These people are making huge money, babe. They're just getting into this thing and they're making big money. And these Hexicans that got in OGs, they've made it. I mean, it's just incredible. I've got to look at this all over again. What's my point? My point is, you told me story after story after story after story on the Twitter space. And then I got other stories from Christian and from Mao and from other people, right? Maui and so forth. And what I realized is that, the old saying, but facts tell, right? Like I can tell you something, but stories sell, right? Facts tell, but stories sell. What you did to me psychologically is you told me story, 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 story. Then you said, I got something coming to you in the mail. Boom, there it is, right? You've already convinced me with the story. And now I want to really know the facts to understand them. Traditionally as in finance, right? I want to know, what am I investing my money in? What is this all, where is this going, and how do I come out, right? Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, what people won't tell you, and I will, is that I want to know what's in it for me. I know that sounds terrible. I know that sounds wrong because it's about community and giving to other people and sharing your stories like you did with me. You weren't selfish. You just kept sharing stories with me. Dave, you need to look at this. Dave, you need to do this. The truth of the matter is, the way I've always worked and operated as a corporate America, if you want to call it, I own my own business, is that I always say to myself, what's in it for me? And in this turn, it was the opposite, right? That's what happened to me. It was the opposite of what happened to me. But I had to look at it, objectively and say, is this something I really want to invest my money in? Once I realized I'm just dealing with the code. I'm talking about, go.hex.com, right? I'm just dealing with the code. I'm dealing with a mutable code, right? Which is what they call it in the truth engine. And I have no human beings that can lie, cheat, steal, you name it, right? Human beings, we have unbelievable behaviors. None of us are saints. I don't care who the hell you are. We're not saints. We make mistakes. We correct them. We move on, whatever. I can forgive anyone for anything, dude. I've been through it all. I've got employees. I got the whole caboodle. But I can tell you that it made sense to me where I could share this with someone, going back to either investing $100, like what you share with your story, going out for a dinner, Eco, and send it for 555, or $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 or even more. And at that point, I realized if I'm going to invest in something, I want to be able to, number one, be able to share it, right? Because I want to go up, right? Now, this is me looking out for me and all of us. But number two, I want to be able to give somebody a vehicle that they can be proud of and not have to deal with a human being that's going to lie, cheat, and steal and be, what is it? What was the other one? FTX, a $30 billion scam. And then you got all these, BitConnect, it goes on and on and on. Scam, until you get to Richard Hart, which is the truth, right? That's why I call it the truth engine. And now I'm on board, and now I'm all in. Right now, I feel like I'm going to get back to the community any way I can. And I'm definitely all in the sense to where, I've got to do my part now. Another thing, Eco, I can share with you that you did to me for experience, and thank you for this, I appreciate it, is that I'm a pretty excited guy. I've got a lot of energy. I run around. I'm a developer. I drive my wife nuts. However, one of the things you did to me was that you were very, very, very normal, and I come across pretty strong, right? I have a lot of energy. I turn people the wrong way. I don't treat people the wrong way, but I have a way about me that people they got to get to know me a little bit before they feel comfortable around me. And my wife said this many, many times. She hated me when she first met me. She thought I was a total jackass. Yeah, exactly. It's true now, 20 years later. But what you did was you were normal in your presentation to me. You were a normal guy. You were just giving, you weren't totally fired up. So let's bring it all back. Keep it simple. When you share this with people, you don't have to have all the information. You don't have to know all the information, but you have to be normal. You hide it because you got something to show them, not tell them, not just vomit all over them about hex.com, but you've got something to show them, and you're going to give them the light. They're going to turn on the light switch by just clicking a few QR codes at the information that you're sending out. There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot, but what I loved about this ego, I let you talk because I'll just talk your head off in the next 5 hours, is that I love the fact you were normal in sharing it with me. You sent something in the mail. I was excited to hear, you wanted to show me something. I was excited about it, knowing more information about it. You tackled with me before I even really got started. Was Dave, you got me on that crypto, what was it, Security Saturday with Papa Boner. And you're like, dude, if you're getting in this thing, you're going to protect your coins. You're going to do this right with a treasure or a ledger. I'm not going to play games. Like, if you are who you say you are, I'm going to run with you. And I'm very grateful for that you did. And I did exactly that. I got multiple treasures. I've listened to everything Papa Boner says. And so everyone that's going to get involved in this is the way to share it. But please, please, please protect your family and friends with security, 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 security. So I'll let you talk, man, because I can just keep talking about this. I love Hex. This is great. This is another asset class that I'm pouring myself into, and it's very exciting, dude. It's very, very exciting. It's definitely
something that you said twice was that you don't like to explain too much, and you like to just let them know, and you keep going on with your life, and then it starts with their life under. Like in an instance of maybe wildfire, maybe not, but they have the tools. And so I just like to bring that back to everybody's attention. I have tools. I'm ready to send you free in the mail so that you can use those tools, so that, somebody will have something that represents Hex, and then they'll follow through with it, rather than it just being this lofty idea that never entangles with their what it is that they're going to do in their day. Like, we really need it to disrupt their day. They need to make it a priority, right?
Exactly. And I love how the fact that it does all your tools do all the speaking for you. You're not selling a Mercedes-Benz, right, or a Ferrari. You're just showing them that. Let them make the decision. Let them get in and drive it. Let them get in and smell the leather, right? Let's smell the leather. You allowed me enough time to smell the leather, get in the damn car, drive it. You didn't have to sell me on it, dude. I'm in. And that's what these tools do. And it's very important that you present yourself that way, because otherwise you're just going to be exhausted trying to share this with everybody. It's just, that's what I loved about this, Ego, about the way your system and the way you're doing things and how you're sharing Hex is so much more powerful than many others. And I don't mean that to degrade anyone else, because I know there's a lot of influencers and they're doing a great job, and I get all that. But for the average Joe Blow guy or gal, right? This you can do. You can do this. This is stuff you can do. The simple person that's got a job and they're working until I'm making a living, they can do this. And this is what I love about this is, let's be honest, it's duplicatable, bro. This is a duplicatable system. You've created a duplicatable system that us Hexicans can use in order to share with all of our families and friends and people that we meet. I even keep one of these other cards on me. So I just got to write in my wallet, just hand it over to them. You got to scan this. You got to check this out. It's big. That's all I say. One of the things I say, Eco, is I had a guy and I had one of the cards on me, and I said, and I think this is very powerful too, and maybe you can, share this with user on this video, is that I said, I've got something. This goes back to the very beginning when we just talked about. I've got something you've got to see. And then I shut my mouth. That's it. I stop right there. And he's like, what is it? And I say, take this. That's it. It's very simple. I don't try to complicate it. I don't spill the beans. I don't throw up all over it. I just do exactly what you did to me. Same thing. This is duplicatable, man. This is great. This is phenomenal what you're doing. I'm going to keep doing it with you. So,
you know, you were saying you need to participate in it and understand the whole thing before it is that you refer it to somebody that puts a lot of money into it, or before you put a lot of money into it. And so I want to tell everybody that these links that are on the marketing tools, they're all very safe links. It's okay to allow some new Hexican to dibble dabble in where these links go, rather than steering them off into a to be funneled towards some sort of shit coins or something like that.
Exactly.
So
I think we all have to find, all of us in our human nature have to find fault in it. I have to prove this thing wrong. So the way you did it, the easy, normal behavior, once I got it, then I got to take these and click them. And I got the time to dissect this whole thing, because I'm like probably most majority of people, okay? They want to find fault in this. Everyone keeps trying to find fault in Richard. Let's be honest here, right? If you go on YouTube and you hear it, it's like, oh, they always say Richard's this and Richard's that, but they never listen to the words that come out of his mouth, right? They're not taking the time. They're taking the time to try to find fault. The problem is there is no fault in it. Okay, this is the truth. This is the 3.5 years up and running, no downtime, no nothing. There's no fault in it. Get in now before it's too late. That's all I've got to say. And that's what I'm trying to push at this point is get in, but I'm trying to do it normal, because I'm, like I said, I'm an excited guy, and I can blow people the wrong way, and I can scare people. And that's not my intentions by no means. I want to do it the opposite way. I'm actually learning the eco way. That's what I'm trying to learn. And I'm being very truthful with you, Eco. I'm trying to get my personality and my behaviors out, and I'm trying to learn about a way someone else is doing it a lot easier than I would be sharing this with somebody. So I appreciate that. And so I want to definitely thank you for that. But I do believe every single person that sees this and clicks on it, they have to take the time to do their own diagnose, right? Dialysis. They're trying to figure out exactly what it is that they're getting involved in. They're going to invest their money in, but they want to try. Let them have the time to try to find the fault, right? Give them that time, because that's powerful, man. Because when they come back and you answer the questions, and that's where you and I are going to work together in the future, is that, I mean, obviously I've got a pipe of people. I know a lot of people, but it's one of these things where I've got to be very careful and not quick to answer their question. I don't want to answer their questions. I want these tools to answer their questions. And I like to get on the phone with someone like yourself to answer my friends and family and the people that I know, for you to answer the questions. I might know the answer, but I'm not going to know it as clear and defined as you are, right? You've got years in this. And so that's an important, thing to understand, that you don't have to be the expert. Here's the expert right here. Let this do all the speaking for you, right? This is the key. This is the key. And so I want to thank you for that. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate you showing me something different, and it's phenomenal, man. This is just phenomenal, dude. And I got in, I kind of told you my story and worked my way down. When I first got into Hex, the price it was, and I just kept buying in. And then you're like, DCA, you needed to, you kept yelling at me, DCA. And so I'm like, okay, Eco, I'll DCA in, and thank God. And then you told me the power of the DCA, and then you shared with me, you're like, Dave, look what's going on now, bro. You're buying in at 0.02, 0.02, 0.023, 0.02. And I'm DCAing twice a month, just to share with you. I'm not going to share amount, because you've shared that with me. Don't tell people where the hell you live, or until I tell you to give me all the tools, but don't dox yourself. So I'm kind of learning about the whole real ecosystem of social media, and not to dox yourself. Don't talking about how much money you have, or how much you're investing in, or wallets, or nothing like that. So I thank you for that too. But I really do appreciate it, Eco. I do, man. I want to stress that fact, because if it wasn't for you, I'd never be here. Period, dude. End of discussion.
Thank you, David. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for coming to the spaces all the time. And it's been a pleasure meeting you. And thank you for your help in growing the Hex community. This is
You're
going to be a
welcome.
wonderful video.
Yep. Absolutely, buddy. I'm in. If I need to talk to somebody, you kind of give me the ropes and let me learn, the levels, right? When I'm at a certain level and feel comfortable with, and you can kind of let me off the leash a little bit more, because it's going to be exciting. Dude. Like this thing is so exciting. Like it changed my life when it came down to the DCA. Like let's just rewind real quick, reiterate real quick. The DCA going down, and then you started sharing with me how big it was from where I started buying in to where it got down into the 2 and 3 cent mark. And I'm just heavy going in. And then there was a guy by the name of
because at some point we did the math of if you bought at the high and the recent low, which was like 1.7, right?
I didn't get that, but yeah.
I know, but because nobody gets the exact bottoms, right?
Yeah.
But if you bought $1,000 worth, US dollars worth at the high and $1,000 US dollars worth at the low, it averages out surprisingly only to 3.4 cents.
Wow. That's
It comes
unbelievable.
all the way down.
Yeah.
So it's really important to buy low while you can.
Absolutely. And that was the one thing I did, which I was so grateful for. And then who's the gentleman that does the charts in our group? I'm going to mess his name. Who is it? He always does the chart analysis.
Oh, Lammy.
Thank you. I forgot it. Lammy, if you watch this video, buddy, sorry for wrecking your name, but it's Lammy. And he did some chart analysis with me, and I was listening in. And when it was down there in the 2 cent range, somewhere in there, 2 cent range, what he was doing was he was doing probabilities, just kind of like what you're saying. And he was doing probabilities and he was doing percentages. And he was sharing with me, Dave, if he took the whole history of Hex, okay? And he told me, he says, dude, your downside right now is like 16%. Okay, your downside. Everything else from here is upside. So if you're gonna unload, he said, now would be the time to let go, dude. Like, go for it, man. If you're gonna do it, go for it. And that I will ever be so grateful to Lammy for that, because I don't know how to read charts. I'm not a chart reader. I don't do that kind of stuff. And he explained to me how you can rationalize exactly the percentage of where you are on the price point of Hex and where this thing is really going to go. And I don't think, obviously, at some point you go, it's not going to matter, right? At some point, it's just it is what it is. We're going to sit at $10. We're going to sit at $20. We're going to sit at $100. At some point, this thing's going to get to the point where it's going to get ridiculous. And I just hope and pray you guys look at this for what it is. Whoever's watching this video, take the time, get on your knees if you have to and pray. That's what I do all the time. And, go for it, because there's nothing to lose here. This is nothing but gain. And this community is incredible. The people that help in this community. I've never been part of a community that has helped me so much to learn the industry the right way, right? That's very important. That's another thing that you shared with me when I first met you, is you've got to learn this the right way. If you don't learn this the right way, you're going to get wrecked. You said it over to me, over and over and over and over again to me. You're like, you're going to get wrecked, dude. If you don't learn this the right way, you're going to get wrecked. And so I think that learning this the right way gives you the confidence and understanding, like when you start clicking the button and money's moving around, right? Let's be honest, money's emotional. You got to get the emotion out of it. Especially when you're DCAing, DCAing doesn't matter. But you've got to learn this. You've got to learn crypto the right way and what's really going on. Decentralized, not your keys, not your coins. I mean, all these just terms and terminology and stuff. I had no idea, dude. I had no idea. My first experience, I shared with you 2017. That's another story. But when you learn this the right way and you're with the right people and you got the right engine and you're rowing in the right boat, the damn thing is going to fly. That's all there is to it. Like Hex has only one way to go, and that's up, period. The Hex community, Richard Hart this is his baby. He said he's in it for the glory. I actually believe him. The more I watch him on video, the more his body language doesn't lie. He might have all these fancy things, and that's cool. That's what you like. But the Hex story is going to be here forever. It's never leaving us. In the crypto space, the Hex story will be on top in enough time, right? Obviously, they've kind of shunned us away. They've kind of put us in the closet for a while. They don't even show us on the ranking scales of what is it? Coin. What does Lammy say? Coin market crap. Okay, these things that we don't know yet, but these things, when these things come, man, it's going to come like a torch. And when it comes and we get there, and I do believe Richard will get his glory. I do believe it. I do believe he is building the greatest ecosystem, the greatest coins, and the greatest crypto. I pray to God that it does work in a way. This is what I'm praying for now, is that it works in a way where we can actually use it as currency. That's what I'm excited about. Can we transfer it, the way crypto was designed, and we can use it as currency? And now I'm super excited, because now we can have sovereignty. Now we can get away from all the crap, the governments and everything. What's going on. I don't need to explain it. I could talk about this for hours. So I'm going to shut up and let you ask another question, man.
Well, no, I think we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
You guys can find David on Twitter Spaces. He's in our Hex community on Twitter Spaces.
Yep.
Thanks so much for coming on the show, I guess. And I'll see you in Twitter Spaces, David. Thank you.
Eco, thank you. Thank you so much, buddy. Take care.
Cheers.